Welcome back to Watchbox Studios Live, folks. I'm your host, Tim Masso. Our Basel coverage continues, and we've got a big one. Today, we are following Baselworld 2019, rolling out Seiko and Grand Seiko. New models launching today from both brands. We've got all of the men's Spring Drive and automatics. But remember, even during Basel, there's the Watchbox.com, because those guys keep me cranking here on YouTube. Buy, sell, or trade 24 hours a day and globally. Remember, when you want to sell in particular, we pay cash, we pay fast, we make it a no-brainer. And of course, on Instagram, my shameless self-promotion, Tim_Masso, help me hit 50K in 2K19. Jumping straight in. Let's see, anyone joining us in the chat box? I've got a lousy connection. You're probably doing better than I am. First thing, main feature. The only feature. Baselworld new model updates 2019 for Seiko and Grand Seiko. Let's go with Grand Seiko 2019 first. New models for men. We're sticking to the men's watches. We're celebrating 20 years of Spring Drive in 2019, and what a birthday present to us from Grand Seiko. We have 3 limited edition references, if we can go full screen with that, 3 limited edition references to lead off, and they are stellar pieces. All complicated Spring Drive sports watches. First, all the way off on the far side of the screen is the red gold SBGC230 Sport. A lovely piece. This is a Spring Drive Chronograph GMT. Common case size for all of these models. Chronograph GMTs are 44.5 millimeters in red gold, 16.8 millimeters thick. First and foremost, this is a dramatically faceted, brushed, and polished cushion case specific to this series, so you will not find this on any other Grand Seiko model or line. This dial, like all 3 in the series, features a billowing flow of textures, here in burgundy, designed to evoke the mane of a lion, Grand Seiko's traditional logo since 1960. The dial is gorgeous, but check out the use of a sapphire cap across the GMT bezel. Rich, lustrous. I'll take that over a ceramic insert 10 out of 10 times. As with its titanium counterpart, the SBGC231, the 230 will include Grand Seiko Spring Drive caliber 9R96, a 3-day automatic movement with power reserve indicator and date. It is a mechanical column wheel and vertical clutch chronograph. You can actually see the column wheel in that image. And so it's crisp to actuate, it's modern in its architecture, 12 and 24-hour dual time, independently settable, with a hand-sorted quartz regulator that enables precision beyond conventional Spring Drive 15 seconds a month, 10 seconds a month. A lion logo on the rotor, which you can see right there, is solid gold and denotes this special grade of 9R Spring Drive precision. The watch is water resistant down to 200 meters. It is a big boy, $42,000, 100 pieces. Limited edition. My friends joining in. I can see Mike K. I can see Niku D. I can see Roham R. I can see Saba H. And he's joining me from Budapest, Hungary. Thank you for coming all the way from Europe, guys. I really appreciate you joining me. And speaking of that titanium SBGC 231 Sport, here it is. It's a gorgeous watch, and it's probably the most universally appealing of the line, of the 3. Still 44.5 millimeters in diameter, it trades red gold for grade 5 titanium, or as Grand Seiko calls it, high-intensity titanium. It features the same extraordinary case finishing and faceting, and it is a very sharp, mechanical aesthetic. I love that polyhedron form. It's not quite the 44GS, but you can see shades of it. And the lugs in particular are sculpted to resemble a lion's claw. Here, the lion's mane dial features a lush brown bronze metallic spectrum. You can see everything from a sort of silver bronze to almost black in there. Manually finished, gorgeous hand-finished dial furniture, the hands and the indices. The SBGC 231 will be built in a limited series of 500 pieces, and the prices will be, for these 500, $12,900 US. Now, fans of relatively simple Spring Drive watches will enjoy the Sport Collection SBGA403 Automatic. It's still 44.5 millimeters, but the 403 is easier to wear at 14.3 millimeters in thickness. This golden lion's mane dial dominates the face of the model. You can see a sapphire bezel cap enriches the overall aesthetic. With date and power reserve, this is only a simple option compared to the Chronograph GMTs, and this is simple by Grand Seiko standards. Their dials are always a little bit busy. In the world of Grand Seiko, more is more. Dial detail is exquisite, and this might be the figurative pick of the lion's litter among the 3 lion mane dials. You can see it has a three-dimensional, almost holographic quality to it. It's almost like the burnished face of an old gold coin. Spring Drive caliber 9R15 is a 3-day automatic with hand-selected quartz oscillator, so it matches that 10-second per month precision attested by Grand Seiko. That's not hearsay, that's what they're promising, and it is protected to a water test depth of 200 meters. As with the chronograph, the gold medallion sits on the winding rotor to denote special tuning of the caliber. 500 pieces of the SBGA403 will be offered at a price of $10,600 US. You're noticing a trend. Grand Seiko prices are ambitious this year, and this is just where it starts, not where it ends. We're going to go north. Let's see who's joining. I can see Abu Sadiq joining in, Oliver P., Michael O.C. I could see we have Freddie R. joining in, and Stephen Alias joining from Rochester. Rochester, my old home state of New York. And I can see the Watch Lounge checking in from Myrtle Beach, rocking his Doxa today. Wear it in good health. And I can see we have Cassidy A. joining in. Oliver is from Germany. And we've got Barry BKT. Howdy, Barry. Okay. We go from the Spring Drive Sport Collection to our Grand Seiko new models that include several new dress references. That's right, we have ultra-thin manual wind dress references. Let's talk about them. New models, all part of the Spring Drive 20th anniversary. We have 4 in total that are hand-wind thin watches coming to market, of which the flagship is the Elegance Collection SBGC230 an ultra-luxury, hang on that image guys, platinum take on the much-loved Grand Seiko Snowflake dial, and get a load of this, a rusticated snowflake case with the exact same texture, hand finished, designed to evoke the winter snowdrifts outside of Grand Seiko's Shiojiri studios in northern Japan. The case and the dial accomplish precisely that goal. All hands and indices on the dial are hand-finished, hand-placed, and white gold. At 38.5 millimeters by 19.8 millimeters thick, this flagship stays true to its mission as part of the Elegance line. These will wear well with a tight cuff, and they have a very cool snow ice-like monotone aesthetic with that blued steel seconds hand at center. Caliber 9R02 is the centerpiece. You thought it was the case? No way. A new manual wind dual mainspring spring drive caliber with an 84-hour power reserve that's boosted by a torque recovery system that actually, for the first 48 hours of operation, returns excess torque from the hands back to the mainspring barrels to extend the power reserve from 72 to 84 hours. See that little yellow circle? That is the stamped signature of the Micro Artist Studio that conventionally only makes the Crador watches. It's the symbol of the bellflower, which, as you can see, is also cut into the cover of the mainspring barrel. The Snowflake SBGC230 will be offered in only 30 pieces at an imposing $76,000 US, but it is laboriously hand-finished inside and out. This is among the rare Grand Seiko Micro Artist Studio watches. The Micro Artist Studio has only been making Grand Seikos as opposed to Cradors alone since 2016. 30 pieces. That 9R02 movement is finished the same level of Longa, the same level that you'll find with Patek Philippe, of Philippe Dufour, Romain Gaultier. It is that good, and it's $76,000 and 30 pieces. I hope this is sold out. This will be the watch collector's failed IQ test if these things aren't simply gone by tomorrow. Jumping into similar splendor, lavished upon the Elegance Collection SBGC230. Let me quickly jump in and say hi to some of my friends joining in. Syed is asking, hi Tim, show your wrist. Guys, you're going to have to imagine this, or maybe we can do a wrist shot. We got a guy in the studio. This is my well-known EZM11. I really feel a little bit out of place while showing you artisanal Micro Artist Studio products and then a face-hardened steel commando watch. This, of course, a 500-piece limited series central chronograph register modified 7750, designed after a watch originally created for the German Federal Customs Service Enforcement Unit. A fun piece and unbreakable. Let's go back to fine things. Thank you so much, Harrison. I appreciate that. Okay. The SBGC230, and let me say hi to my friends. We've got Captain Zed joining in, New York punter, Carrie from Sweden, Matthew F. asking what's with the glasses. They're up there so I don't lose them. Clown Thief saying, hey Tim, hey Clown, and Matthew Dale. All right, SBG, we keep talking about this watch, we never get to it. SBGZ003, a second platinum reference like the previous. This one matches the 38.5 millimeter case size and 9.8 millimeter thickness, but the case and dial are conventional in finish. finish. You can see this is a watch you can wear without quite the same fear of marking or damaging the finish. The blasted dial of this model features a subtle granular texture. It's a matte finish, and white gold indices to match the white gold hands. You also have that gorgeous counterweighted blue steel fired Lancet seconds hand. Also a Micro Artist Studio product. This includes the caliber 9R02, same 84-hour power reserve. You can see it is still finished to that same level, such that you don't need a loop to appreciate the fat edging of the anglage or the execution of the straight graining or the handsome finish of the barrel cap or the screws. Everything about it is artisanal and executed with excruciating attention to detail. Again, think Lange, think Romain Gaultier. 500 pieces. You better believe it has a display case back. And also, both of those 9R02 with a case back power reserve indicator. 500 pieces will be offered at a still ambitious but more accessible $57,000 US. I can see Jalapuki joining us from Latvia, and I could see Sayed saying, nice piece. He likes my Zin. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, man. This is not always in favor on a luxury watch channel. And then we've got Rod and Jay joining us from Croatia, and former Fed saying, I have the older model of Yachtmaster 2. I like that too. We've got greetings in the form of Spilliker's Compass from Zurich, which I'm told is going to be the site of Omega's rollout this year. We're still waiting for that one. Yellow gold. It's been on the comeback trail globally across all brands, and the comeback continues with the Grand Seiko Elegance Collection SBGY002. Almost all specifications, 38.5 millimeters, under 10 millimeters thick, carry over a snowflake dial here. This is interesting because you get the interplay of the snowflake dial and the satin finished yellow gold, as well as the indices and the hands in yellow gold. I actually think that looks better than the standard monotone snowflake. The case band of this model is graceful, elegant, tasteful, and satin finished. This is how colored gold should be done. At this level, lower price point, Grand Seiko offers caliber 9R31. You still get a decent level of finish. It's luxury horology, not high horology. You get that case-back power reserve indicator. You can see it's a bit more modest about the finishing of the barrel, the bridges, the screws. All of this still quite attractive, though. Hand-assembled, hand-regulated. 72-hour power reserve rather than 84 because it does not have the torque recovery device. Still a display case-back, of course. The primary difference here is that there is no numbered limit to the number that will be made. It is as requested, as many as they can sell, and the price is $25,000 US, so it is considerably less pricey than the Micro Artist Studio watches. Finally, we have the people's champion of the quartet, and that is the steel SBGY003. Same size, 38.5 millimeters. This one shelves the haute horlogerie movements and the precious metal cases for a spectacular rayon sunray dial. This is genuinely attractive and appealing. This could be one of the platinum watches. Nothing about that dial says entry level. Happily, caliber 9R31 returns in the steel SBGY003. It's a good looking movement, very appropriate to the price. Spring drive manually wound, so you get that spring drive tech. Plus or minus 15 seconds a month in that one. And this for $7,600 US. So for less than the price of an Explorer 2, artisanal craftsmanship, spring drive technology, very versatile. Oh, right, I can see Philip Sebastian Peterson joining in saying nice Seiko, and we've got James G joining from the UK. It's his first live stream. Thank you so much for getting started with us during Baselworld Week. I really appreciate that. And Andrew Goss saying, missed the spring drive power reserve indicator. It's on the case back. It's on the movement. I don't know if you miss it from the dial, but it's still on the watch. And right here, we've got Steve Place. Hi, everyone, catching up. Thanks for joining in. And Taylor saying that the yellow gold snowflake should be called the yellow snow. That's good. Now, for the increasingly upscale junior cousin of Grand Seiko, Seiko 2019. And if there's one standout trend at Seiko, and it's true at Grand Seiko too this year, it's the inexorable upward march of Seiko retail prices, seemingly into the space occupied by Grand Seiko only a few years prior. And I mean like 4, 5, 6 years ago, not decades. Let's start with the bedrock Prospex collection of sports watches. 7 new references, 6 of them are right here. The Prospex LX collection. Let's discuss. Prospex LX includes 4 spring drive GMTs and 2 automatic divers. All have been designed under industrial design maestro and polymath Ken Okiyama, who is best known among car enthusiasts as the designer of the 2003 Ferrari Enzo, as well as my favorite Ferrari, the unloved Scaglietti 612, the big blunderbuss Ferrari with 4 seats and too much weight. It's another Tim thing, the 612 Scaglietti. But Ken has wrought something interesting for Seiko in the form of GMTs. We're going to go with the GMTs first. 4 of them. Prospex LX. All are titanium or titanium black DLC. All are 48 or 44.8 millimeters and 14.7 millimeters thick. So 44.8, 14.7 thick. All feature an automatic spring drive caliber. You get in spring drive caliber 5R66, which is Grand Seiko derived, 3-day power reserve plus or minus 15 seconds a month, power reserve indicator, and a date. All of these feature rotating bezels, but GMTs are considered to be land and air models distinguished by compass and 24-hour bidirectional bezels, respectively. So, air GMT. Let's start with the air GMTs. First, the SLA033, 24-hour bidirectional rotating aviator's bezel. If we can go full screen with all these for a little while, guys, I'd appreciate that. Sapphire capped, a luxurious flourish on a Seiko. Blue, white, red color palette. Handsome, classic, bare titanium, satin finished. The flanks are beveled and polished with the Zaratsu Solace Machine mirrored finish that you get on Grand Seiko. 100-meter water test, $5,500 US. Rolling into the next Aviator's GMT, SNR035, 24-hour two-way Aviator's bezel, sapphire capped, blackout dial and hands. Titanium with black DLC coating, you still get the Zaratsu polish on the beveled lugs. It is a gloss black with that mirrored finish. It's still present even on the blackened case. 100-meter water resistant, $5,500 US. Okay, we're shifting over to the land GMT now. SNR025. 360-degree compass bezel bidirectional. If you can see the sun, you can use that bezel to navigate on land. Now, the watch features yellow, black, and white accents, bare titanium satin finished Zaratsu polished bevels, 200-meter water resistance. The land sport watches are closer to water than the air sport, presumably, so they are 200 meters rather than 100, and they cost less, $5,000 US, because they do not have the sapphire capped bezel. Land GMT. SRN027, 360-degree compass bezel bidirectional, blackout dial and hands, titanium black DLC coating with Zaratsu polished flourishes, 200 meters, $5,000 US. Okay, I can see right here. MB is saying, can you tell us why you always wear your glasses upside down on your head? From Mark in Sutton, England. Okay, because honestly, when I'm inside, I just put them on my head so I don't lose them. So when I go outside, they're still there. And, you know, they're Oakleys. They're expensive sunglasses. I don't want to lose them. Josh and I went to visit FP Journe in October of 2017, and he immediately lost his Ray-Bans. My glasses were on my head the whole time. Lesson learned. Josh should take a lesson from my style insensibility. He would pay less in the end. All right, 2 of the watches in the Prospex LX collection are actually spring drive divers that provide the sea leg of the Prospex LX land, air, and sea triad. These are 44.5 millimeters in diameter, but they're 15.7 millimeters thick because they're 300 meters water resistant. Both are of titanium construction. All are automatic, spring drive caliber, 5R65, 3-day power reserve, date, power reserve indicator, plus or minus 15 seconds a month. Dive watch, SNR029. Of the Prospex LX collection, the SNR 029 is probably the most normal and conventional looking watch. Unidirectional dive bezel with ceramic insert, glad to see that finally on Seiko watches. Bare titanium, satin finished Zaratsu flanks. 300-meter water test, $6,000 US. The divers are the most expensive of the series, despite being less complicated. Dive watch, SNR031. This is a unidirectional dive bezel, still ceramic, blacked out bezel, blacked out dial and hands, titanium with DLC black coating, 300 meters water resistant, $6,000 US. Jumping back into the box, Andrew Lee is impressed. I'm not sure impressed favorably or unfavorably by the price of some of these Seiko watches. And I can see Rene Cortez saying that blue-black Seiko GMT is gorgeous. Isn't it? It's almost like a Patty Prospex GMT spring drive. I can see Stephen E. is saying that murdered out Seiko GMT is pretty incredible, though. And I can see Sam is joining from Geneva again, disappointed by most brands this year at Basel. He says, what do you think about the Nomos novelties? The club is stunning. The blacked out badass club, I actually like it, but after last year's Autobahn, it's just too tough an act to follow. That was one of the best watches of the year. The new club is good looking, but it's not one of the best watches from any brand in 2019. Finally, we have an offshoot. I showed you 7 watches. I said we had 6 in the Prospex LX collection. An offshoot of the 2019 Prospex collection is the Prospex 1970 Divers Recreation Limited Edition. This might have the broadest appeal. This model is designed as a diveable modern homage to the 1970 reference 6105B 150 meter diver. That's the original. The original was 44 millimeters, now 45 millimeters, but only 13 millimeters thick. This is one of the thinnest Seiko or Grand Seiko watches of the year. By the way, how much do you love that traffic light flourish on the end of the seconds hand? Classic stuff. The entire watch is under 50 millimeters lug to lug and full stainless steel. Small wrists join in. This is suitable for wrists as small as 14 centimeters based on that lug to lug and the classic cushion case. The bezel is actually Zaratsu polished at its rim, and the watch features a silicone strap. Zaratsu polish is a Grand Seiko refinement, and it continues inside the watch. A Grand Seiko derived caliber 8L35 automatic has a 50-hour power reserve, and it sits secure down to a test depth of 200 meters. 2,500 pieces will be available. There is a custom caseback, individually numbered. They will be offered at an eminently reasonable, but once ambitious for Seiko, $4,250. Guys, I can see Alpha Mike Foxtrot joining in. I can see Juan Almost. What's up, Tim? Breitling killed it. We will have Breitling coverage coming up soon. And I can see right here, Nader N saying, I wish they had stuck with the full Araneth case on Zenith's Dayfi Inventor. Andrew Lee saying, a tad too expensive for me, Tim. And Steve Play saying, man, the 70s had some crazy pancake cases. Didn't they just? But you guys let me know if you're watching this recorded or if you're watching it live. Once this thing posts, what do you think of the new Seiko and Grand Seiko novelties? And in particular, what do you think of the prices? Because the Grand Seiko stuff is now at or above Rolex territory. Remember, Rolex watches, especially steel sports watches, sell for a lot of money on secondary markets, but MSRP is fairly reasonable. The Daytona at $12,400 is one of the most expensive you can buy. The Sea Dwellers, the Subs, the Explorer 2s, the GMTs, they all cost less than that. Seiko and Grand Seiko really ambitious this year. The hardware, the quality is there, but are they ready as a brand to make the jump? Well, hold that thought, because we have one more collection that redeems the value proposition traditionally associated with Seiko, and that is the Seiko Presage line. 2 new references for 2019. The international line Presage launched in 2016 at Basel, and it expands once more. Seiko has repeated its precedent of launching 2 artisanal models in the Presage line, one with 3 hands and a date, and one with a date and a power reserve. This year, previously we saw enamel, we saw Urushi lacquer, we saw Shippo enamel. Arita porcelain is the theme. This is a full structural fabrication. It's not just an enamel or lacquer application on a metal dial blank as in the past. The dials are actually shaped in molds and dried to create the porcelain base disc. You can see the complication cut right in that molded disc of porcelain. Later, glaze is applied for the gloss effect and numerals are added. It's fired several times at up to 1300 degrees. We've learned a few new artisanal names over the last few years. Wataru Tatani of Ando Cloisonne handed last year's Shippo enamels to Seiko and its collectors. Hiroyuki Hashiguchi is the new name to follow for 2019. He is a specialist in porcelain from Kyushu. He is actually from Arita, Kyushu, and he is supervising these new porcelain dials. And the porcelain trade in Arita actually goes back 400 years. So like Shippo enamel, this is a long, refined methodology being brought into the world of watchmaking. It precedes watchmaking. Seiko Presage SPB093. This is probably the one to get if you're into the whole idea of value porcelain. Stainless steel 40.6 millimeter case. This one 14.1 millimeters thick. The power reserve date dial is glossy, rich, lustrous, and opulent. You can see the benefits of the laborious porcelain process. And if there's one weakness in the porcelain urushi lacquer and enamel dials at Seiko, it's always around an aperture like a date where you can see that it's a little bit rough and unrefined. On this particular dial, as it has been in the past with the power reserve and the radial date, there is no aperture, so this will get you close to the high horology porcelain look that you would see on an artisanally crafted Swiss watch. Caliber 6R27, automatic, 45 hours. The watch is 100 meters water resistant. It's tough to reckon prices because I have the euro price. It's 1,950 euro, but euro pricing includes VAT, which is an average of 19% in the eurozone. The previous and similar SPB073 enamel, you can see same case, same basic dial layout and movement. That costs $1,600 in the US, and I would expect the SPB093 to be similar. The next watch, probably the most universal of the two, is the Seiko Presage SPB095. 3 hands and a date. This one's stainless steel, 40.5 millimeters. A simple 3-hand and a date dial with probably a better balance aesthetically than the 093 because you don't have those off-centered complications. I don't know how it's going to look around the date when I loop it, but from an arm's length right here, it looks okay. A better balanced style. Both of them, and you can see that here, employ those gloriously arcing leaf-style cobalt-blued hands with the lunette counterweighted needle seconds. This one sports a new movement for Seiko, the 6R35, which is an automatic with a 3-day power reserve. This watch is also 100 meters water resistant. We have the European pricing. It is 1,750 euro. The previous SPB 069, which you could see is the same watch with a different dial, but also an older movement. It didn't have the 70-hour power reserve. That was an $1,100 watch. I would expect the porcelain with the new caliber 6R35 3-day power reserve to be priced a little bit higher. All things considered, these two Presage references seem like the best buys among any Seiko or Grand Seiko watches this year. I actually feel like if you want traditional Seiko value in a mechanical watch, this is the place to get it. This is what Grand Seiko was just a few years prior. I can see right here, Adrian C. is saying, that looks like a Glasuta Original Senator. It does have a classical simplicity, especially with the Roman numerals. That's where I think you're seeing that. And Asura is saying, I love those pieces. Ian P. is saying, the yellow snowflake, don't eat it. That's fine, you can wear it. And I see right here we have Spilker's Compass saying, Seiko this year is attractive, but the price point is beyond what the market will accept. The brand is not yet there. And I can see Michael O.C. saying, Grand Seiko are cashing in on the lack of availability right now of Rolex steel watches and inflated pre-owned prices. Whether GS will retain their value in the pre-owned range remains to be seen as their MSRP rises. Those are good points. Guys, let me know, what are your points, your thoughts, your rankings? Thumbs up or thumbs down for these new watches, as watches and as they're priced. Give them to me both separately. Remember, send your wrist shots to mondaymailbag@thewatchbox.com because we're doing the Monday show as usual, 6 p.m. on Monday. Comment and subscribe in the boxes below and let me know on Tim_Masso on Instagram what you think of my 60-second quick format reviews, because that is my fastest growing platform. Unconventional broadcast schedule today, guys. As soon as I'm done, practically 60 minutes after we fold, the usual Trader's Desk show, Jason and Josh, is coming on at 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern. So stick around, 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern, Josh and Jason are going to be going live. They're going to be talking Basel, their instant analysis from a trader's perspective. Thank you so much. Time out, Tim out, and thank you for logging on.